Council, we'll get you to do the pledge of allegiance. You're good.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we got the agenda approval. Has everybody looked the agenda over, and anybody feels like we need to make any changes to it? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve it as put out.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion second to approve it as it was presented. All in favor, let me know, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes for the August 7th council meeting. And that's pretty lengthy. I guess everybody's already looked it over anyway. If everybody feels comfortable with it, if anybody feels comfortable with it, we'll entertain a motion to approve it.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion second to approve. All in favor, let me know, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for the next one, which is August the 17th work session meeting. And again, when ready, we'll entertain a motion to approve it or disapprove it.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, one motion second. Okay, all in favor, let me know, raise your right hand. Okay. Next, we have the department reports. Tina Monaghan.
Okay. Financial report. Included with this report is the statement of revenues and expenditures ending July 31st, 2017. I will get you the statement for August as it becomes available. When you get a chance, take a moment and look it over for your reference. We are doing well, and I hope to continue to keep on track as the year progresses. Maintenance. Our part-time seasonal maintenance employee, Mr. Andrew Long, started with us on August 9th and has been a pleasure to work with. We are finally able to get caught up on grass cutting and move on to other projects that need done around the city. On top of his normal responsibilities, Mr. Fawcett has repaired some potholes on Canton Road, cleaned out the ditches along Ray Mountain Road, and replaced rotten floorboards that were on the back deck of City Hall. A quality pressure washer was also finally purchased. This was approved by the council some time ago, but we wanted to do our research before making the final decision. We also got an awesome sale because it was Labor Day. So that saved us money too. There was complaints about potholes down around the bend there once you cross the railroad tracks. People were complaining. You should go out on Pickens Street and go around.
Oh,
Yes, over there, and were not our roads, they were Pickens County, so I contacted Pickens County, and within 2 days they had them fixed. So that was good, because one of them was really bad, and I was to the point where I was just going to have Ricky fix it, because I had called a couple of times before, but when I called, and I guess I spoke to the right person, and they were out there and fixed it, so it was great. Sanitation, we have been keeping Gene and Stephen busy lately. Between new residents and people choosing our service over the others out there, we have had a continued increase in customers. Gene and I sat down the other week with a map of the city and marked off the routes for different days. This way we have a clear and concise idea of when and where pickup will be, and it also helps when new customers come in to open an account. That's going to be following the financial report here. Information on the September 21st work session meeting. The work session for this month is scheduled to be on Thursday, September 21st. Later on in the agenda is an item requesting a vote to reschedule so that we can combine it with the Pickens County Millage Rate public hearing, which has been advertised to take place on Thursday, September 14th. Just as with Cherokee County, there will be a complete rollback, which means no increase or decrease. Miscellaneous. Included with this report is a list of those who qualified for the November election. I would like to congratulate those who decided to participate. I would like to give each candidate an opportunity to speak at the October meeting so that it will be closer to the election. A quick note, since Mr. Havlin qualified for the mayor position before his council term was complete, he vacated his council seat according to the Constitution of the state of Georgia. The city will have to have a special election next year to fill his seat. We will revisit this subject once more details on the date and cost become available. Finally, City Hall will be closed Monday, September 11th through Wednesday, September 13th, as I will be at Clerk Training Conference in Athens, Georgia. And behind the trash map is the candidates. There were 2 that qualified for mayor, Michael Haviland and Sylvia Green. 4 qualified for the 2 seats for the 4-year term, which was Mr. James Queen, Chad Green, Edith Portillo, and William McNiff. And council seat, special election 2-year term, which was to fill the remaining 2 years of my seat, council, was Mr. Lamar Kellett and Kelsey Reel. The election will take place on November 7th. And the page after that is the section from the Georgia Constitution, which explains the vacancies created by elected officials qualifying for other office. I just gave everybody a copy for their reference. Any questions?
On the qualifying, does this mean that James Queen and Chad Green are going to be opposing each other? Is it?
Well, basically, that is an at-large election, so the 2 candidates with the most votes will get the 2 seats.
Okay, 2 seats, okay.
Yeah, so there's 2 seats available, so the 2 with the most votes come election day will fill the seats.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Let's go back to this. And this is the 2 routes on Thursday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
How many are we up to now as far as customers on the garbage service?
I want to stay close to 250.
Any complaints or anything?
Mm-mm. No, not at all.
Are the trucks?
Excuse me?
And are the trucks in good repair? Or is the truck still in good repair?
Yes, yes. I've been having Gene and I meet once a week when he picks up information for either people that have left the route or people that have joined the route. I give him addresses, and we kind of have like a conference then, a meeting once a week, and we discuss things and update things, and he's been filling me in, and so far everything seems to be in good shape, no complaints.
Anybody have any further questions? Okay, moving right along. The unfinished business. Discuss and vote on maintenance repairs for the Marble Museum. Again, number 6A here.
You want me to present that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. At the August 17th work session, I shared with the council some things that I wanted to address with the Marble Museum in preparation for the Marble Festival tours, which will take place on October 7th through the 8th. I did some research and discovered that window tint would be the way to go in terms of keeping out heat and UV rays that damage the photos. I got some estimates and was not happy with the amount that was to be spent. I discovered that Home Depot sells the same thing that some of the contractors were going to use, so I picked up a couple of rolls along with the install kit, and my husband volunteered to do the work free of charge. So rather than spending over $500 for the project, we spent less than $100 and used a better quality product than the previously mentioned quote included. It will also cut down on cooling costs for City Hall, which is an added benefit because the sun bathes through those windows all day. And it makes the air have to run when we know in the summer and the heat and everything like that. So I have calls in for estimates for the electrical work on the display cases. I do not have them in hand at this time. The gentleman was going to come this morning for an estimate and had an emergency, so he wasn't able to make it. Some of the estimates I wasn't happy with at all, so I'm not even going to present them. But the gentleman that has done the electrical work over in the maintenance building is the one I'm working on, and he said
What
that
were some of those estimates? Just a ballpark.
one of them was like $700. The other guy said that he wouldn't do it for under $1,000. And I'm not quite sure why, because it's not a lot of work, but it's just tedious work, I guess, to be done. A lot of them just wanted to strip everything, and it's not necessary to remove everything. My goal is to have everything in working order, but not to start from scratch, and I don't think we need LED lights, and you know, they want to put these fancy LEDs in there, and this, that, and the other thing, and I was like, well, that's counterproductive, because then that in turn damages the pages that are in there. That's too bright of a light. So I'm waiting to get the estimate, you know, when he comes in and gets an estimate on that.
How about if we, when's the Marble Festival?
The October 7th and the 8th.
7th and 8th. How about giving people, how about just giving, or do you think we should vote? Maybe if we could set a price range on it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We could set a price range, and then I could let everybody know.
I think when you say this, if you had set a price range, we vote on it, so then it bypasses. And that way you can just have to
Yeah.
fix as long as it's within that range.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like I said, I'm sorry that it was an emergency came up and he wasn't able to come, otherwise I would have had it today. I was counting on having that to present to y'all, and the other ones were laughable, so I wasn't even gonna bother. I just did
And you can spend how much?
1,000.
1,000?
Mhm.
I'd say if it's under, if it's within your range and you feel comfortable with it.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
Well, let's just wait, let me finish the whole thing and then we'll.
Sorry, we're jumping in.
Oh, and I put in here that I was awaiting quotes on the locks for the cases. I have good news for that. I can skip the rest of that paragraph because I had a gentleman come in today to take a look at it, and he fixed them at no cost. He greased the ones that were stuck and discovered that the key, and the one that the key was stuck in, he got that out without breaking anything, and now they're all fully functional and greased and will close and lock and open on a regular basis so they can be cleaned and maintained, and he didn't charge anything. So that saved us a big chunk because a lot of them wanted to drill the locks out and then replace them. And I was trying to avoid that at all costs because I really think that, I mean, and not necessarily that people would open them intentionally, but you know, you have little kids or something, fingers get pinched because they push it open and slide their finger. It's just a whole, with the locks there, we don't have to worry about any
A lot
of
of that
that.
stuff's on loan too.
Yes, a lot of the stuff is on loan, so I'd rather have it locked up and protected as well. So we saved money on that. So basically, I was just, whatever kind of motion y'all want, just to ask the council to vote to approve the maintenance repairs to the Marble Museum. If you want to put a motion to put like a range on it or something like that, that's fine, since I don't have exact numbers.
Won't you make a motion for?
We're just saying as long as the cost of everything's under 1,000,
Under
then
1,000.
and I'm sure it'll come in at that, but that way it gives you some freedom to just go ahead and, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion second to approve the up to 1,000. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimously approved. Okay, discuss and if necessary, vote on the next step to take pertaining to drainage issues on Cherokee Avenue. You know, we at some point need to get this project taken care of. Why don't we, I would propose that we seek a bid to change all, or to cover all the drains down through there, and if we have to come or to either install drainage pipes or replace them or whatever, all the way down through there, and then if we have to come back and put in a drainage or some kind of a pit or something to catch it. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I mean, after this, I'm so frustrated, and I think I explained it to everybody, but basically I called the pipe company to find out if they could clean the pipes, which is what we had discussed at the last meeting, only to find out that they can't clean what's collapsed. So their suggestion was, rather than to waste any more money, to go ahead and just put it out to bid and have a company fix it, and put in those 2 intakes and just fix it from top to bottom, because at this point in time, you know, we could fix the 3 parts that are collapsed that we've already discovered, and call them back, have them run the camera, find 3 more parts, fix that. I mean, it's just a never-ending cycle. And we're at the point here where we have that LMIG money that I have to spend so we can go ahead and apply for 2018's LMIG money. And we have SPOS money that we've set aside for it. And I mean, we're going on 3 years here. So basically, I'm just asking you all to vote to go ahead and have it put out to bid.
Okay,
And just
next,
put it to rest.
So we put it out to bid.
do we have a bid proposal that we can put out there?
Yes. It just needs the fill in the blanks, that's it. So the main work's done, it just gets the blanks filled in, so.
Is Barry talking about using the pipe from Benny's? It's okay when they run the camera through the new pipe?
I'm sorry.
The new pipe in front of Benny's house, is it okay to use?
It's that he's gonna leave it up to them. He said the best bet is to leave it up to the contractors to make sure that there's something that's gonna work for the long term. Metal doesn't connect well with concrete. You know, we're gonna wanna pick something and go from top to bottom and use the same thing and just do it so that it's good for 100 years rather than kind of patching it here and there, because I'd rather do the fix for 100 than fix it for 10 and then have to replace it. That's the problem. Like, you can either do all metal or all concrete, but when you mix the metal and the concrete, it's a difficulty getting them all to join and flow properly. That's what the pipe guy told me, because, he deals with pipes all the time, so I had asked him a bunch of
Well,
questions.
see, it won't be one solid piece of pipe all the way down through there, so that's, we should be able to, if we just take care of the driveways and the sidewalks or people's entranceways.
And then the gentleman said, the pipe gentleman also said that, you can have it so that we do the concrete aprons over the driveway so that the residents don't have to worry about it anymore, with the gravel or whatever, that would be his recommendation, rather than have the pipe and then cover it with gravel, which would still wash out to a certain extent. You can do the concrete aprons, and that would be your better bet.
And we're talking about 10 concrete, poured concrete driveway, at least portions.
I mean, not the whole thing, obviously, but a portion of it, yeah.
We have the SPOS money and the LMIG and all that. Which I think we're better off doing it one time and being done, so we're not revisiting this in a few years, and then it takes 5 more.
And I think that's gonna make the residents more happy than throwing gravel, and then we have to constantly, because Ricky's constantly up on that road, fixing gravel that is washed off, and then he has to clean the road of the gravel that it comes all the way down, because it creates a driving hazard when all the gravel washes down. So I just think that for the long run, I mean, it's not like a park where it's pretty and people see it, but in the long run, it's a wise investment because it's infrastructure.
It won't take probably a yard and a half to pour a driveway, if that.
Well, yeah, but if we have all the way down through there in the different formings that they've got to do, which I think we probably should just put it out for a proposal,
Yeah.
see what we get back and see if we can approve what we get back.
Mm-hmm.
Get a price on metal pipe all the way and concrete pipe all the way.
Yeah, that's what we can do in the bid package, and then what they'll do is submit sealed bids, and then we'll open them at a council meeting and go from there. That's one of the things that I told Barry I wanted to add it into the bid package, to have alternatives and have them present alternatives so that we can have the best decision in the end.
Yeah.
We find out too with the longevity of the metal versus the concrete.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the equipment that would be able to break through those things that we just can't, to try to break through the bedrock or marble or whatever it is that's blocking. I mean, until you get through it from top to bottom, you have a pipe that's going nowhere. You have pipe that's hitting rock, and then pipe that's, so the water isn't even going in it. Yeah.
So you have what you need to prepare a bid package to go ahead and advertise, right?
I make the motion to do that.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimously passed. Discuss an update of the last meeting, the Pickens County Joint Comprehensive Plan. That's number 7C.
6C. Did you skip some?
6C, I'm sorry.
Okay. So on Tuesday, August 22nd, I attended the latest meeting for the Pickens County Joint Comprehensive Plan. I believe Mr. Havlin was also in attendance. I just wanted to give the council a summary of the meeting. Rather than break down into small groups, we stayed together in a large group since the concerns of most of the county are the same. There were representatives from each area except the Pickens County Board of Commissioners. Residents and elected officials alike expressed what they were happy with and not happy with. While most of the meeting were peaceful, there were times when the discussion got heated. I felt right at home. It seems that people want change, but they don't want change, and they certainly don't want to pay for change. So the story is pretty much the same no matter where you go. The main topic was to discuss the SWOT, the SWOT, which stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. I took about 30 pages of notes, but what I put was just some highlights. Strengths were proximity to Atlanta, proximity to major corridors, natural resources, active chamber of commerce, tourism, large tracts of land with plenty of elbow room. Weaknesses were lack of good paying jobs, limited new housing, limited sewer and water, lack of infrastructure, not enough recreation to attract people to the area, and not enough businesses to attract people to the area. Opportunities. Plenty of land to develop, new VA clinic opening up, schools are improving with each passing year, government agencies more willing than ever to work together. Threats included lack of revenue generating industry, drugs, poverty, over 3/4 of the children enrolled in school qualify for free or reduced lunch, water is very limited and no new sources are in sight, and there's a perception that it's difficult to do business here. In the county, this was countywide. Included with this is a list that I quickly comprised for the city of Nelson. We can add or subtract from this list as you all see fit. The point was to create a document to serve as a starting point for discussion. I didn't present it because, like I said, we didn't break down into city groups. So it was not intended, this was not intended to be a voting item, but rather to keep everyone up to speed on what was going on as far as the comprehensive plan is concerned. The next meeting will be on Tuesday, October 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Pickens County Administration Building. So.
Anybody have any questions or comments on that process? Okay, Ken, we really appreciate the effort you're putting in on this.
Very much.
It was interesting, it was, to get to hear residents and things like that and speak, and there's such a great kind of divide because you have the big canoe and the Bentry people, and then, you know, it's a lot like the city of Nelson, how we have, you know, we don't qualify for a lot of grants because the subdivision's income level takes the whole city out of that grant spectrum. Well, that's the same thing that has with Pickens County because of the revenue and the Big Canoe and Bentry. I was getting ready to mix them up. Those two. Anyway, they do the same thing for Pickens County. They raise it to a level where it's hard to qualify for grants and things like that. And I didn't realize that that water. I mean, I knew that we get our water from Cherokee County because that's, you know, who the bill goes to. But I didn't realize that Pickens didn't. I mean, Jasper has sewer, but everybody else doesn't, and then the water, there's no like water source or anything like that, so I didn't know that.
Well, you know, Pickens is buying water from two different counties.
Yeah.
And you know, they buy it from Jasper, they buy it from Cherokee,
Mm.
which really they're set up to withdraw from all three counties.
Yeah, there's another county, is it Dawson or something?
Well, Gordon County
Okay.
is, we're getting a lot of it in from Gordon now, so, and until we can possibly find a place for, as far as the county, you know, they're gonna have to eventually put in a reservoir or continue buying it from the sources they're getting it from.
Mm.
Anybody got any further comments about that? Okay. Moving on to new business, vote to approve the purchase of street signs and other related supplies needed for the city. That's number 7A. Tina, if you want to take the lead there.
Excuse me. At the August 17th work session, I had mentioned potentially adding street signs to the list of helming projects, but now I'm not sure that we can wait until 2018 to go ahead and purchase some of these, as we have had quite a few knocked over and damaged beyond use recently. Below is a description of the new standards which will go into effect as of the year 2018. While some of our signs meet these requirements, the majority do not. I don't want to replace them all at once, but Mr. Fawcett and I have comprised a list of those that we need right away. There are signs that we have none of, or what we have is in bad shape. So basically, the new nationwide standards require street name signs to be high-intensity prismatic with upper lowercase legend. The new standards also require that only alternative to the green background is blue, brown, or white. A black legend shall be used if the background is white, otherwise the legend color shall be white. So basically, we're going to keep the green with the white writing. New laws governing street names have to be completed by the year 2018, so engineer grade signs can still be purchased but will not meet the new standards in 2018. New standards regarding sign height on roads 25 miles per hour or less. A 6-inch sign with 4-inch lettering can be used. On roads with a speed limit of greater than 25 miles per hour, a 9-inch sign with 6-inch lettering is required. I was going to go ahead and order the 9-inch with the 6-inch lettering across the board because it's actually cheaper than to order the 6-inch with the 4-inch. Yeah, 6-inch with the 4-inch lettering is more expensive. I don't know why, so I figured, I said, well, we get in trouble if we use the 9-inch across the board. They're like, no, that's fine, you can do that. You know, I checked into it with GDOT and everything, so. Also, there's a definite need for signposts and some other items which are listed on the included supply list. These lovely street signposts have to be shipped via truck, and shipping is costly whether you order 1 or 10. I would rather order more and have them around when we need them than to spend money for shipping every couple of months. You'd be surprised how many poles get destroyed during any given month. So these, on the next page is the supply, and these were the roads that we came up to that we needed to order, and that alone, just for the street signs, is $729.40. Other items that we needed are the 3-way signs to go with the stop signs, restroom signs for the park, which people just keep borrowing, or they fall off and they get messed up. They haven't borrowed any since the cameras have gone in, but nonetheless, apparently they needed them. And then square signposts, the bases to go with them, and the curved bolts that hold them together. And on the next page, that total came to $551.25, which made it over $1,000 and out of my ordering limit. The reason that you see in the city a lot of the posts are crooked, it's because they've been broken or bent so many times that they're shorter than they're supposed to be, and we've just been kind of holding on to preserve them. Yes, they keep getting lower and lower. Because they have to be shipped via truck, it's, I think the cheapest I found shipping was, these were the better deal. This company was the better deal on the product, but their shipping was more expensive, so they're comping me shipping. So I think it's going to be $75, and it's going to be $75 whether I order 1 pole or 10 or 100, because it's all going to come in the truck.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And we have no replacement poles left at this point in time.
So this, if you order 10 replacement poles, that would be, we'd have that many more in the stock.
Yeah.
Or we don't need 10 to replace right now.
No, we do not. We need one. It definitely needs replacing because it's got 3 good feet left on it, and that's not going to do anybody any good.
Okay, and as far as changing these signs, we don't need to get into massive sign changing because the feds have decided to change the layouts or whatever the lettering size is. But
yeah, well, no, that's why I didn't want to do that. But I figured as we replace them, it makes sense to replace them in the new standard. And a lot of them we just don't. I mean, if you look around at some of our Ray Mountain roads or Ricky's been hammering those babies out and trying to preserve them as long as he can, and with just certain things like that, just replace them. These were the ones that he had. The ones he had were either destroyed or he had none of them at all. And so I figured, because I wasn't going to go crazy and try to order ones, but I figured as we need them replaced, these were the ones that we had either none of or the ones we had were damaged.
Okay, Bill, any further discussion? Do we need to just go ahead and vote on, or if we approve to order the signs at, well, the post and assorted hardware is $551, and then the $729.40 for the signs that we need. Want to just, somebody make a motion that we make that purchase?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve it.
Okay,
I'll second
we
it.
have a second, all right, we have a motion, second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, go ahead and make that purchase. Okay, next we have the, review the information for the Georgia Flood Map Renewal Project. And the way I read that, we don't have any changes or anything that has, would require any action really on anything. So I think we probably ought to just go ahead and let you handle the information that they need to,
Yeah, I mean, that's what they said. I went to this meeting and it was not the most exciting meeting I've ever attended, I have to tell you.
you didn't fill out a place for all the bureaucrats, did you?
It was just, I mean, it was interesting, but, you know, it was a lot of like mostly these insurance terms and this, that, and the other thing and how they justify it. And it was interesting in the fact that it happened right after the flooding in Hurricane Harvey. That's right, Harvey,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yes, I'm sorry. So flood insurance, needless to say, after that is going to go up. But we're fortunate that there was, Cherokee County overall has dropped down. And the reason that we're on the Cherokee County side with this is because we do the hazard mitigation plan through Cherokee County, and this is part of that with the flood. So we have not added or decreased in anything. And I gave you this packet that they went through in this meeting, just in case you all wanted to read up on flooding and flood insurance and all the fun stuff that they've been doing since 2012, which is when it started, and it's due to be complete in fall of 2018. So it's a lengthy process.
Right. Well, again, I think that we probably should just delegate to you to go ahead and handle, just keep us in compliance with what they say we need.
And if you all want to watch the PowerPoint, I have a disc you can borrow so you can take it home. Watch it at your leisure.
Lots of coffee.
Okay. Vote to move the September work session meeting to Thursday, September the 14th, to combine with the public hearing required for the millage rate for Pickens County. Does everybody understand what we're talking about, needing to do that? Are we going to be able to have enough, as far as vacations and all, will we be able to,
Well, that's why I wanted to move it, because the fall break falls during the following week. It's the 18th through,
18th is the Monday.
yeah, the 18th is the Monday, so it's the 18th through that Friday when both school systems are going to be on their fall break. And I wanted to get the millage rate. My goal is to beat the record for Pickens County millage rate setting in the city so we can get our tax digest bright and early. And I wanted to take care of it today, was my hope to have that public hearing, but the final numbers were not available for the required advertising time. So it's been advertised, we're within, state regulations, and I figured rather than have 3 meetings or and not have people there, we'll just take care of everything on the 14th.
does anybody have a problem with moving it to the 14th? Okay,
We can have a vote.
let's make a
Make a
motion.
motion to move the meeting to the 14th.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion second, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimously approved. Okay, next we have the public appearance. Anybody like to, go ahead.
Mark Kellett, 1005 Ball Lake Drive, Nelson. Wanted to check on the cash reserve for the city. I don't know whether that was resolved at the last meeting or was that supposed to be voted on at this meeting?
It was voted on. I needed the minutes to be approved from the meeting to take to the bank, so
Okay,
that's why I had to wait till now.
okay, so that'll be completed shortly. Okay. That's the only question I have.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments or anything? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to resign.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion second. All in favor, let us raise your right hand. Unanimously approved.